Experience is lived, experience is felt, experience is shared. But how is experience designed?
Hello, I'm M.Garbutt.
I'm Bronwyn Williams.
And I'm Catherine Bond, and together we're the Discipline Leads for Experience Design at UNSW Sydney.
This presentation looks at how we teach students to design memorable and embodied experiences, which are driven by intention, narrative, and atmosphere.
But first, what is an experience?
We define an experience as something that happens when there's a person or people in a place over time. That's an experience. We're having experiences all the time, but some are more memorable than others. Experience design is about creating intentional, meaningful encounters. We live in a culture that values experiences and increasingly an economy that trades on buying and selling them. The experience design industry connects with many fields, including art, architecture, and interaction, blending elements of these into a distinctive discipline with specialized outcomes for entertainment, education, cultural, and commercial purposes. To prepare our students for this growing industry, we teach a range of skills, analog and digital, practical and expressive, technical and conceptual.
At UNSW Sydney, within the Faculty of Arts, Design and Architecture, in the School of Art and Design, Experience Design is offered as one of 7 disciplinary specializations within the bachelor's degree. Students elect to specialize in 2 of these 7 disciplines. Experience Design is also offered as a discipline focus for the postgraduate program, although this presentation will focus on the undergraduate courses. Our approach to experience design prioritizes the human or more than human perspective, shaping how people engage with space, time, themselves, and each other. Students learn to navigate the complexities of experience to create atmospheric, narrative-driven, and embodied encounters. The experience design discipline is characterized by spatiality, sensory stimuli, materiality, affordances, and temporal sequencing. Designers use these as tools to sculpt evocative encounters. We teach students to develop the skills to design experiences across diverse contexts, from sensory installations, events, and exhibitions, to brand activations, filmic environments, and speculative futures. The experience design discipline balances vocational skills with creative exploration. We enable emerging designers to understand, analyze, and intentionally shape experiences in a rapidly evolving design landscape. The experience design discipline consists of 3 core courses. Experience 1 is an entry-level course open to all undergraduate students at UNSW, and it is a prerequisite for Experience 2 and 3, which are second and third year courses. Experience 1 introduces students to pragmatic and expressive approaches to designing experiences. Drawing on the psychology of human cognition and perception, the course focuses on experiences that are narrative-driven, sensory, and human-centered. Students are challenged to use these principles to inform their experiments with additive model making, subtractive model making, experience mapping, scaled section drawings, sensory diagrams, and storyboards. Students reflect on these iterative activities in a process journal. These activities create a portfolio of work for the first assessment task. Students comment on the range of skills learned in this first task, particularly around subtractive spatial creation and the mapping of sensory experiences, which are usually entirely new to students. Building on these skills, students are guided to design a multisensory experiential installation. Alongside their conceptual development, students are introduced to a history of immersive installations. Their atmospheric and sensory installations are developed through an iterative design process. The spatial and experiential solutions are communicated through the skills learned in Assessment Task 1, alongside new skills in concept writing, site analysis, planimetric and elevation diagrams, and atmospheric collaging. For many students, the collages are a particularly compelling method of communicating the essence of their installations. Students curate their work into a portfolio that captures their experiential design and process. After completing the introductory course of Experience 1, students move on to Experience 2.
Experience 2 is an industry-focused course that looks at exhibition design and locates it as a critical professional practice for the galleries, libraries, archives and museum sector. Students evolve their foundational skills and knowledge into more complex experiential outcomes with intermediate digital and technical finesse. In the first weeks of the course, students are introduced to the many varied cultures of display, as well as historical and contemporary methods of exhibition design. The course positions designers as active agents in shaping new ways for the public to connect with exhibitions, art, design, and culture. Through iterative studio work, students develop immersive display strategies that challenge traditional museum experiences. They're not just designing exhibits, they're rethinking how we interact with cultural spaces, collections, and each other. Starting from the design of a single display device for a chosen art or design work, they learn how to detail and document their display devices in CAD software and receive markups and revisions by the tutor as they would in an industry setting. Students go on to develop a documentation set for a broader exhibition experience, including reflected ceiling plans, lighting diagrams, material specifications, engagement strategies, perspectival renders, underpinned by their concept. Students leave the course with a professional portfolio that demonstrates conceptual thinking, visual communication, and technical knowledge and documentation, all essential skills for employment in the GLAM sector.
In this final course of the series, students apply the skills they've learnt to the ephemeral design of events and performances, acknowledging the heightened atmosphere of collective encounters. They explore how space, time, and social experience intersect, creating projects that reflect their own interests and cultural insights. These might range from night ocean swimming to skate jams, to Iron Maiden concerts, to Chinese tea ceremonies. Projects evolve through iteration and include speculative design experiments that explore potential scenarios to expand the range of contexts for their future practice. Students produce detailed scripts and storyboards that reflect different perspectives, such as those of spectators, performers, or even more than human subjects. Referencing theatre, film, and event design and management, students learn how to refine the cueing, framing, and cadence of the experience. The complex spatial and experiential conditions encountered by these subjects are communicated through a range of diagramming techniques, technical drawings, and atmospheric illustrations. In addition to the 3 studio courses, we offer 4 electives: Playful Spaces, Soft Structures, Crisis Spaces, Small Spaces, and Multimodal Spaces. These are available to any UNSW student and give existing experienced design students an opportunity to deepen their portfolio with specific projects.
The main challenge of teaching experience design is that experience is inherently intangible, immaterial, and deeply personal. We address this challenge through our human-centered approach that attempts to understand how we respond to environments and events. We teach students the science behind embodied perception and our sensory systems. This allows them to better understand how people respond to specific stimuli, situations, and surroundings for material objects, physical spaces, and social contexts. Another conceptual framework that grounds our teaching is Gibson's affordance theory that acknowledges the relationship between audiences and the environment. Student designers are encouraged to be responsive to the stimulating contextual opportunities that cue or guide behaviours. Lastly, we connect these conceptual frameworks and the vocational skills to industry examples, demonstrating the real-world application of both theory and practice. The impact of these strategies is that students graduate with a design portfolio and are prepared for creative roles in industry.
To support students transitioning into industry, UNSW has a work-integrated learning program, which provides students with placements, often leading to permanent positions. In parallel with this, we have been interviewing experienced design practitioners across a range of job roles and contexts. These discussions have illuminated for us the growing significance of experienced design, particularly in the brand activation and exhibition design fields. UNSW experienced design students graduate with the skill set to play an active part in this exciting sector.
In summation, our experience design discipline is helping to define the field as central to all design and essential to our shared future.
Our graduates contribute to a diverse industry that creates memorable, lived, felt, and shared experiences.
That's experience design at UNSW Sydney. If you teach or practice experience design, we'd really love to hear from you to continue the conversation. And now, on to the next experience.